Hello and welcome back to the Minetrek.net game server. Currently over here working on Shadow's Luminosity B build. I can tell you this is a pretty big ship. I've been over here working on it for the last week, and I've gone through and I've revised a lot of the decks and basically been placing decks in. This is deck 10 right here. I'm just now starting to prep for deck 11 stuff. Shadow did significant outlining work, i.e. putting in tanks and things like that. He also did a lot of prelim work with his hangar, so everything around his hangar and stuff, and all the stuff up through here is pretty much stuff Shadow's put in. I've gone through and I've done some revision work, and I'm still working on a lot of these upper decks, but my primary focus has been to renegotiate some of his turbolift issues, some of his Jeffrey tube issues, and to path out corridors and stuff on the decks that he hasn't been working on, starting with, I think this deck right here was one of the first major decks that I worked on. So I went through here and we pathed out a bunch of stuff, and this is I think deck 9, pretty sure this is deck 9, then the deck below it's deck 10, deck 11, so deck 9 was pretty much where I really did the bulk of the pathing and stuff. So then Shadow came through and he made some modifications and some tweaks. He added in a shield generator and some other stuff and things and whatnot. But yeah, I've been working with him pretty extensively on this. When he's on and I'm on, he's 8 hours ahead of me, so sometimes I have to stay on a little bit early and he has to get up a little bit early, or I have to stay on a little bit late and he has to get up a little bit early, depending on how you want to look at it and stuff. I guess we can go ahead and convert this sand to magenta because I think these corridors are pretty well locked into place now. I'd like to get a turbolift back here, but I might have to come from the bottom to get to it. See, this is the kind of stuff that I'm working on, and I can do that easily because there's a turbolift right there. So we'll probably be right here for this turbolift. So let's go ahead and do that real quick while I'm thinking about it. Get a turbolift up here, or back here. Back here is the correct phrasing for that. And let's go to the outside. Let's go ahead and fill this in here. We'll put the door right here. Get rid of this stuff here, and there we go, turbolift. So I wonder if I can go up. I wonder what's above us. It's his main engineering bay. Yeah, we can do it, but we'd have to move the corridor. So let's go ahead and do that too. Let's go ahead and put a turbolift right here. Except that's auxiliary also. We've got to go one over. We've got to go right to here. So the turbolift would basically come up like so. And then the corridor itself would come down like so. Get rid of these extra blocks here. And the space in here would just probably be related to whatever systems and things he wants to place in there. So let's go ahead and get rid of these. There we go. Alright, so this is what I've been doing, trying to help out Shadow and such with his big build here. And it is a pretty extensive build. I'm sure you've seen some of the videos he's done on it. If not, check out his channel. I'm not really certain when his last video was, but I'll see if I can find his channel and put a link in the description below so that y'all can see what he does and subscribe to him as well. But he built this hangar. He's not much for narration, but he'll talk your ear off if you give him a chance, and he'll be very thorough about what he's doing, about the backstory with the ship and why it's, you know, a big sovereign, you know, why it has different registry names and things like that, why it has a lot of the details that it has. He's put a lot of effort and time into it, so it's worth listening to. It's interesting. He's constantly revising it as new ideas come to surface and old ideas fall by the wayside. But yeah, he built the hangar. He says it was based off a suggestion I gave him, and all I remember telling him is it's a new build. You can build the hangar as big as you want to make it. And that's pretty much the only suggestion I gave him that I can recall, other than, you know, follow certain, you know, build guidelines. You want to make sure your quarters are always 3 wide and or the deck should be 3 to 4 tall. He decided to go with 4 tall decks, and I'm a fan of the 4 tall deck plan now after working with the Enterprise D. I think in the future all the builds I work on, if I can, they're all going to be 4 deck tall. It just works out so much nicer for building. It really does. Anyways, come down through here. I've done a lot of extensive reworks of these areas, so that I've extended his turbolift system. I've added corridors and spacings for things, like I added this corridor, excuse me, this turbolift through here, and added the new turbolift down through here, and so forth, and linked it up to the one that's all the way back here and down here, and outpathing other things and stuff, and I was gonna say shit, but it didn't come out quite right. Now check out this. This is something I haven't seen before. That's pretty cool if you look at that. Isn't that pretty neat looking? I mean, he has put a lot of effort into this hangar bay and all the stuff in it. I mean, you have to come on the server just to check out this hangar bay. It's just amazing work. And back here, I haven't done anything yet with the sections back here, because we're still kind of mapping out what it is. This is, I believe, the Arboretum, and I'm not sure who's been over here or what all this here is. Some sort of a stage area, I believe. So I guess from this point back I get to play with as far as initial design efforts, and then I got to come through here and I got to map out corridors and stuff like that. This will be like, I'll do this here after I get deck 10 and 11 finalized, maybe even deck 12. No, actually I think I'll do it after I do deck 11, because this is about where deck 11 is. No, deck 11's way up here. So deck 11, deck 12, deck 13. This might even be deck 14 by the time I get down here. Let's go over here and see what he's got set up. No, this is deck 11, deck 12. So, interesting. What do we got here? We got deck 14. So deck 14, so deck 14, 15, 13, 12, 11. Yeah, we got quite a ways before we're getting down in here. So I guess I could map out deck 10 up here, which is mainly just umbilicals. So if you see these are umbilicals. So it wouldn't be too much here. We do have to route a turbolift. And I'm not sure what this is. It's something to do with the ship's exteriors, so that'll have to be counted for. Alright, so we need to route a turbolift over here, and there's no way we can route corridors unless we go through over here someplace, and I don't think that's going to be possible. But we'll check it out anyways. We'll see what's behind wall number 1 here. Well, how about that? We have a big impulse bay. Oh my. What can we do here? This is this big impulse engine bay. You don't really need a lot of space over here. And what do we have here? Hangar. Okay, so that won't... Well, actually, see what we got here. Oh, it's hangar. That won't work. What I'd like to do... I remember running into this issue with the Sovereign myself, because I wanted to have a corridor that allowed at least link these sides together. And it was important to have that. And... looks like parking bay, so let's go ahead and fix that so it's all back to where it is. There you go. So if we were to have a corridor, it would come out like this, and would have to come all the way back. So this wall here would have to be actually in all the way back. You get a little bit of shorter impulse bay, but that's fine. Back, yeah. And back, yeah. Come down through here like this. This is all part of the design process anyway, so you just sort of kind of got to figure it out as you go and see what works and what doesn't work. And what do we got right here? I think this is part of a Jeffries tube system. Yep. Into a room here. Interesting. Those are pistons. It's a pretty interesting idea for pistons. That must be an airlock. That is an airlock. Airlock to shuttle, and bay door stuff opens an impulse. Cool, so there must be a button. Alright, so he did a very similar thing that we did, I think, on the Sovereign. He put an airlock in. Ooh, I like this. This is a pretty cool idea. Okay, so we definitely want a corridor that comes back here. Now, that means this area here in the impulse bay should be repurposed to be more or less the control bay for the impulse bay. And I really wouldn't worry about putting too much stuff down around in here. But, you know, and it's Shadow's ship, so it's really his call what he wants to do. But what I would definitely do is I would come through here and something like this. Now this would be his extended maintenance area, and this is some sort of a door mechanism. I really don't think he needs it because it really is superfluous at this point. Because there's really no, if the door is only one deck tall, why have a door there? It doesn't make any sense. You know, I mean, you have a door here, you would just bulkhead that. You wouldn't need a big door going across here. Now, if you were, I don't know, wanting to seal off the impulse bay at some point, you'd put the door over here, like a half and half system, or have part of the door up into the roof and so forth like that. Yeah. Anyways, then I would leave this area here. Actually, how would we do that? Because you need to go down to that area. It says all of this is parking bay. Let's go ahead and get rid of this door here. Let's go ahead and extend that to there. Go ahead and get rid of this. Let's go ahead and wrap fill this. Get rid of all this. Alright, so we're going to fill 35.7. Let's go 100. There we go. Alright, so now this is all full up. And this can be left open for like a catwalk to come out here and go all the way back. So we've got like a catwalk that comes back this way. And let's go ahead and just grab some glass or something to throw down there so we know it's a catwalk. It's kind of hard to follow somebody else's vision when they're really, you know, they have a good idea what they want to do, but they're just not real, you know, clear per se what the exact intentions of things are. Now, you don't need a big area all the way up when you got this big area here, and this area here can be better utilized for a lot of other things. Now, in order to benefit this corridor, the way we're going to have to do it is we're going to have to put a stairwell right here. And it's first and foremost, let's go ahead and make sure we have our thing here. And now we have to decide what kind of stairwell. Do we want it to, say, come to about right here? Let's go ahead and double wall this as well. This will be the corridor. Or would it be the whole corridor? We don't know yet. So, because remember, the corridors have to be 3 tall, minimum. So that the corridor itself, if this is going to be the stairwell, then the corridor should start to, let's go ahead and path this out here real quick. Go ahead and do this. First and foremost, it's just, yeah, it's a double wall. You want to make sure that's a double wall. Yeah, it's all double wall. Go ahead and set this to wool. Let's go actually to, there we go. And speak of the devil, there's Shadow. I'm going to go ahead and get on chat real quick with Shadow here, so give me a second while I gear up that. Let's go to Builder Voice. Alright, I'm going to tell Shadow. So he knows what we're doing. he'll join us here in a second. He's probably freaking out, but let's go ahead and fill this. 20 should be enough. There we go. It wasn't. Close enough though, but it wasn't quite enough. Recording.
Oh.
So, what I did here is I need to have a corridor that goes to this back section here, and this is pretty much dead space. So I extended your engineering platform, and then I'm leaving this area down here open. And the corridor itself will.
Most of this is going to change over time, so I really don't know. I'll tell Blue, because he said he wanted to work on this, to recopy out this entire segment when he does it.
Yeah, I would have him do that, just so he has an updated version. But it was just a big dead space, and it served no purpose, and we definitely needed a corridor connection to this airlock, as well as to this area back here on the ship. Without it, your hangar is here, and there's no way to run a corridor pathing. So.
Yeah, this is the parking bay.
It's extensive.
Yeah.
Plus, it gives you an opportunity to, play around a little bit with engineering a little bit more than.
Yeah.
So you got this nice big engineering impulse bay now to work with, instead of having just a bunch of shallow rooms. You have a little bit of a depth to it, and then you can run catwalks all over hell and back, kind of like what the Enterprise D did.
Considering we do not have an idea what this could look like by the end of it. I mean, this is a mock-up of an idea that really, when I finally got through, just went completely sour. That's why the exhaust pipes look funky as crap.
Yeah. Well, I figured it was a rough draft or something like that, so.
Yes, it was very rough. If anything, over time as the ship has progressed, it's probably going to go back to being like a 25th century design. I don't know.
Well, whatever works,
Yeah, as long as it looks good and B, it doesn't want to make me pull my eyes out, I'll be fine. I've done that enough times. Yeah, this airlock's like an emergency one for the, for whatever reason they have one right here up for the shuttle bay, I'll never know. But
well, it is what it is. Government stuff and all.
Even though the government had no choices in the design of this ship.
Yeah. Oh. Now, I didn't understand, why did you have a door right here? What was the purpose of this door being here?
Oh, you mean the one gap wide between here and the wall?
Yeah.
This is because there's the shuttle bay door.
Okay, so the shuttle bay door goes here. Okay.
If a section of it would go into here and the rest would be slight outside for whatever reason.
Okay,
that's mainly because of space. It was to hide. If just break this temporarily over here.
Okay, I wasn't sure. That's why I thought I'd ask.
Yeah, there was a small section that goes into there, and the rest would open out as like a folding system. All four sections can't go there because it would damage the ventilation platform, so it has to be the break. And the reason, and basically, it would be like the fourth panel would be in there, and the other three would be like in front of each other. So shuttles like the Starwolf Escort, the T-14, and runabouts could easily maneuver in and out of the shuttle bay.
Yeah.
Since there's that many, there's a lot of large shuttles to go with this ship.
Well, I can imagine. How many shuttles did you end up making for it?
There's the new T7 that goes up the sleeker Prober design, the Tier 9 redesign, the Tier 18H redesign, and the Tier 14, as well as Starwolf Escort, the Runabout, and obviously the Captain's Yacht, which in this case is called Lisboa. But if you're meant to go off the actual Sovereign, like the Enterprise E, it's actually called Chateau. Don't ask me how I know that.
Alright, I won't.
Good. I've been asked too many times, it drives me insane. But yeah. Speaking of Lisboa, she's going to get a redesign. I mean, the design that a former member did do was good, but a lot of space has been so badly misused that it's actually somewhat of a joke now. I mean, we're talking most of the internal space is just dedicated to the warp core, which is, at this point, it looks cool, but it's so stupid. There is better ways to work around the warp core to make it still look cool, but not as stupid
Yeah.
redone. And that's one of my side projects. In other news, the Buzzard systems, excluding all the additional systems like you have on the E, it's finally done.
Well, that's always a good thing.
Yeah, I hated this thing. So in my copy of the nacelle, they've been implemented, and I'm working on going through the nacelle and preparing to add the control rooms, the additional systems, the shield generator, the workbee drop area, in a bunch of additional systems, and the very small buzzard-like system, which I think is called the ionizing particle thing. The continuous cycle refractonator, whatever that is, and I've got to still add that. I'm also preparing the side platforms where there's what looks like vents on the side of the nacelle. I prepared something for that. I've made it much shallower than that's what's in the E's, but I have my reasons. Mainly because the Buzzard systems are a lot larger. And that's because the whole nacelle is double beamed compared to the E's, the D's, and almost every other ship where it's single beamed. Which really span at it. So I've got to make the processor also double beamed, because it goes underneath the upper magnetic interlock, the magnetic collector system at the back of the top Buzzard system.
Yeah.
And then there's a bunch of systems that go with that I've seen in the E. I mean, most of the control rooms in that are going to actually have to be pushed forward compared to the E, so between the E and Lumi B, the whole nacelle is pretty much, there's going to be elements that are the same, and then there's going to just be huge elements, mainly the control room and stuff, that are completely different. On Lumi B, I want the control room very, very small.
Yeah. Well, I do appreciate you taking time to watch. Again, this is the Minetrek.net game server. Kind of noticing a bit of a frame rate drop here. I don't know what's causing it, so I'm going to go ahead and log off here and catch you in the next video. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.